Tonight on FBC News, Financial Intelligence Unit monitoring internet users downloading pornographic material. New scheme could see inmates from Vitilevu serving time in Taviuni. A national scholarship scheme in the works. Welcome to FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. The Financial Intelligence Unit at the Reserve Bank is now monitoring locals downloading pornographic materials from the internet. FIU Director Razim Baksh says they have the capacity to track down people involved in such activities and are now assisting police and other enforcement agencies. Dev Narayan has more.
The FIU confirms they have handed over details of Fijians who are downloading pornography from the internet to the police. They have the ability to trace the IP address of every individual user who logs onto suspicious websites. An IP address is basically your location on the World Wide Web. What's most alarming for the FIU is the number of children misusing the internet.
They would want to experiment this, and this is where the things go out of hand, and we see a lot of cases happening in Fiji, as well as us adults. When we have access to a whole variety of information, we would want to also implement and experiment it.
According to Baksh, in most cases, they have found that children have been left unsupervised by their parents or guardians.
We sometimes, as parents, are relaxed, and we assume that our children would be doing their homework, by doing the research on the internet, but not knowing at the same time that the internet is an avenue for a lot of pornography sites, adult websites, and they can be accessing that.
Siriana Balethamavua has 2 children who are often using the internet. She agrees that strict supervision is necessary.
They're not supposed to go out to the internet shops because we don't know what they're going to do over there.
The Financial Intelligence Unit continues to keep a close watch on internet usage in Fiji. It's been confirmed that they've already helped police make arrest in a similar case. Dev Narayan, FBC News.
The Fiji Correction Service plans to move inmates from Vitilevu to Taviuni in order to reduce overcrowding. However, as Vosita Kote Wasawasa reports, this is purely on a voluntary basis.
The proposal of moving inmates to Taviuni only applies to those who take up farming as part of their rehabilitation program.
That will really accommodate all those who will be convicted around Vitilevu, and also those who opt for rehabilitation in terms of farming. We will bring them here to utilize the large land that's available here in Taviuni.
The correction services have struggled with overcrowding for many years. This initiative is expected to ease the load on facilities on Vitilevu. Following recent extensions, the Taviuni Corrections Facility is now able to cater for 60 inmates compared to only 10 previously. For other facilities around the country, Colonel Vasu is still awaiting confirmation on funding for more upgrades.
Hopefully, the budget at the end of this year will look at some of the ones that we have raised with the government last year, and it was on hold, so hopefully we'll get them. We'll submit it. It's up to the government in terms of the priority.
Extensions to this facility cost the government over $400,000. Vosita Kote Wasawasa, FBC News.
The government plans to provide scholarships for every student who passes his or her secondary school exams. University of the South Pacific Vice-Chancellor Professor Rajesh Chandra made the revelation at an open forum with students earlier this week. Professor Rajesh Chandra says it's a progressive plan which would see every qualifying student receive a government scholarship. USP and other universities have been invited to see how the scheme can be developed to reduce the burden on those who can't afford a tertiary education.
And that means that we have so much to give, and we need to work out mechanisms to be able to draw those things out. And that is what the university experience is about. Recognizing that all our students who come have talent, they have academic ability.
The Maritime Transport and Ship Registration Decree will come into effect from September this year. Chief Executive Neil Slack says they've given stakeholders 6 months amnesty to get themselves prepared for the new laws. Dev Narayan has more.
The new decree will help AMSEF better serve seafarers while also modernizing maritime laws in Fiji. AMSEF will be able to hold vessel owners responsible for not following best practices and set proper charges, fees and penalties.
There are a number of clauses specifically relating to marine pollution and maritime pollution aspects and the obligations, the international obligations through IMO that Cabinet has endorsed. We need to give time to the stakeholders to be able to prepare themselves for that equipment and training and so forth. And we'd expect that a number of those clauses will come into effect in September.
The current Fiji Marine Act came into effect in 1986. 20 years down the line, there's a need to identify and seal gaps in maritime laws.
By reviewing the Marine Act and by reviewing the marine and maritime regulations, we're doing exactly that. So last week, this week and next week and over the coming months, we'll be seeking public and stakeholder input as we did on the MTD and the SRD, now on the marine regulations. And we'd expect that they would, after extensive consultation, be drafted, vetted internally, presented to the Solicitor General's office this year for presentation to Cabinet for bringing into our own local law this year.
The new decree will cater for the current and future needs of Fiji's maritime sector and public demand. There will be strict policing of marine legislation with a mechanism to review and update of regulations when the need arises. Dev Narayan, FBC News.
After the break, a week before Easter, hundreds take part in Crosswalk. Welcome back to FBC News. The arrival of the Airbus to Air Pacific's fleet begins a new era for Fiji to compete in one of the toughest times in aviation history. The national carrier, soon to be rebranded Fiji Airways, will rely on the new aircraft to bring in the much-needed revenue. Christopher Chand reports.
Out with the old, in with the new. The A330 making history as Fiji's first fully owned wide-body aircraft. By the end of this year, 3 new Airbuses will have joined the fleet, while the older 747 jumbo jets are retired.
As you know, that we've been leasing some very old 747s. One of them goes offline around about June, July. The second one goes offline at the end of the year. And they're obviously expensive aircraft to run. The Airbuses will mean about 30% reduction in the cost of buying fuel. So it uses 30% less fuel. And 30% is a huge percentage.
Named the island of Taveuni and regarded as a national treasure, this aircraft will be in the hangar for less than a month. Staff will undergo training before it takes off on its first commercial flight to Auckland on April 2nd.
It's critical for us to have a very good national carrier. The national carrier won't stop flying just because there's a flood or there's a cyclone or there's some kind of unrest. Overseas aircraft can pull out whenever they want to. It's very important to have national carrier.
The arrival of the new plane means more than just a new aircraft. Its impact on the economy is expected to be significant.
Having 3 new Airbuses and the potential to have other new aircraft, you're going to require more people. So it creates more jobs. It has a direct impact on our GDP. It has the ability to bring in more tourists, go to new destinations.
The second Airbus arrives in 2 months and will be called Namukailau. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
The Catholic Crosswalk began from Lami outside Suva this morning for the Namata Meditation Center in Nandi. It's a build-up to next week's Easter celebrations, and the Crosswalk has been a major part of the Christian calendar in Fiji for many years. Mika Longa reports.
About 100 youth from around the country are participating in this year's Crosswalk.
Hopes are right up there. We can't wait. We're all fit. We are well spiritually prepared.
With only the first leg of the walk completed, some are already showing signs of physical challenge.
The journey is quite tough, but we didn't actually realize we had blisters until we sat down. and took off our shoes. But as you walk and you keep singing and praying, you won't be able to feel any pain.
Every young and old person in this crosswalk are putting their human limitations to the test in sacrifice for their personal and family intentions.
My parents are not Catholic, only my sisters and I. So my main intention is that my parents get to understand the Catholic faith more.
I work for the Ministry of Health. I believe God is calling me to do His work, so I'm praying for it in this crosswalk.
I'm a very impatient person, and I came on this walk to try and change my ways.
I want to get closer to God and know Him better, and I'm just waiting for graduation. And right now I'm looking for a job.
Solomon Iwata has been taking part in the crosswalk for the last 26 years. He's seen many happy faces at the end of the journey.
Miracles has happened, especially for those young people who are participating. Most of them comes with their own intentions, wanted to find jobs, and then after the walk they find a job. Some of them they pray for their wife. After the walk they find a good wife.
The crosswalk will end in Namata Nandi on Easter Sunday. Mikalonga, FBC News.
The people of Rambi are looking forward to more economic opportunities after recent government investment on the island. Epeli Tukuasa looks at how 3 major developments are set to improve business for the community.
Rambi Island off the Uni is rich in natural resources but has never been able to benefit from them due to poor infrastructure.
Bringing about infrastructure that will sort of help us to use the skills that we have to utilize the resources.
Rambi has a new ice plant for people who want to venture into commercial fishing, and this new jetty will make it easier to ship their catch to markets around Fiji and the Pacific. There also has been focus on improving the medical care for the local community with an upgraded health center.
This facility has been upgraded to cater for the management of TB cases in Rambi, since it has been seen as one of the major communicable diseases to be common in this.
With all this effort to empower the islanders, Rambi elders are now working on upskilling people to become more productive.
You cannot usher in a new technology, a new commercial entity, if we do not have the capacity building within the infrastructure to facilitate that.
Future projects for Rambi are also in the pipeline, including Fiji's newest water bottling factory.
This is planned to bottle the water here so that they can export that to Tuvalu and all of that.
The Rambi Council says they are now in a better position to take control of their lives with the latest investment by the government. Epeli Tukuasa, FBC News.
The last auditions for Miss World Fiji were held at the FBC head office in Suva this afternoon. Judges say they are encouraged by the turnout from young girls who want to represent Fiji at the Miss World pageant in Jakarta and Bali in Indonesia. 10 candidates will now be shortlisted for the local competition to select a winner. Miss World 2013 will be held in September. Fiji scrapes by on Hong Kong 7's pool match against Spain. And New Zealand claims second win in Under-20 World Cup qualifiers. That's after the break. Fiji have made it to the Cup quarter-finals of the Hong Kong Sevens after winning their second game against Spain by 22-12. It was a game riddled with errors and has left many asking questions about Fiji's ability to play hard-hitting teams. Elena McDonald reports from Hong Kong that the real test for Fiji is yet to come.
Fiji leads Pool B with 6 points, but if Canada manages to beat Hong Kong later today, Fiji and Canada's final pool encounter will decide who will top their pool and meet the first or second place teams in Pool A, which features Argentina, Wales, Australia and South Africa. So Fiji-Canada is the match that is the closest to testing Fiji so far in Hong Kong, which kicks off at 10:54 p.m. Fiji time. They played a much weaker Hong Kong outfit and Spain gave them the chance to run all 12 players. I spotted All Black Sevens coach Gordon Hitchens taking some notes. It's really going to be the smarter team that prevails tomorrow night. Fiji fans are confident our players will get the job done. Some have commented the test is yet to come and we just can't afford to commit silly mistakes. The upsets continue for some of the big guns here on day 2. England suffered another defeat, this time going down to Scotland 14-5. Yesterday they lost to Samoa 28-7, while Argentina beat South Africa 28-0. From what you've seen, the atmosphere is absolutely fantastic here at Hong Kong Stadium. Sevens rugby is truly at its best here. The official march is currently on, while the Beach Boys, yes, the Beach Boys, will be performing tonight. Another highlight is Waisale Serevi, who will be officially inducted into the RB Hall of Fame. The presentation will be held around 10:15 p.m. Fiji time today. Awesome news for Fiji, an award truly deserved. Looking forward to all the action here. Pressure still building for our Sevens Gladiators with the title on the line. For FBC Sports here at Socompo Stadium in Hong Kong, I'm Elena McDonald.
It was a scrappy affair when Fiji met Spain in their second pool encounter at the Hong Kong Sevens. Mistakes were made and the team buckled under pressure. Trainer Tomasi Dama says the poor defense will not do in future matches.
Yeah, first of all, we have to be firm in our defense and also in our tackle, and we have to work hard on when we go into the rack and we can lose possession in our lineouts. That's something that we're going to take it over.
Meanwhile, coach Ali Feretindere was happy that the team is through to the cup quarters.
I especially give thanks to the Spain team that give us that hard game.
Fiji takes on Canada at 10:54 p.m. The International Rugby Board has announced the qualification process for Sevens rugby at the Olympic Games in Rio in 2016. The top 4 teams from the IRB 7 series of that season will qualify for the Rio Games. Following that, between June and September 2015, each of the 6 IRB regions will have an Olympic qualifications event. IRB Heads of Competition and Performance, Mark Egan, says there will be 1 team from each of the 6 regions plus a repechage. The women's competition qualifiers are yet to be decided. Fiji has made a strong start in its second game in the World Cup qualifiers, taking on New Caledonia. Rusiate Matererenga inspired the Fiji under-20 outfit, which now leads 3-1 at halftime. Here are the goals from the first half.
On by Ngase Vakatini, drives and diving and following through as they follow through again. And Nakalevu, Jean-Pierre to Ernest. Ernest cross and Sakuraya makes the mistake and a blunder in the 27th minute. He lines up his angle, drives, curls it through, and Rusiate Matererenga has put Fiji up by 2-1. As on the far touchline side, Napoleon Ngase Vakatini turns and plays a lovely through pass. He finds Rusiate Matererenga. Matererenga now turned with the turns, and Rusiate Matererenga.
New Zealand under-20 beat Vanuatu 1-0 this afternoon in the Oceania World Cup qualifiers in Churchill Park in Lautoka. Striker Vanelia netted a pull-back from Bill Toiloma to give New Zealand the win. The Kiwis started the game strong and then continued pressure allowed them to take the lead. Vanuatu piled the pressure and had a few near misses. The Kiwi goalie was resilient and he made brilliant saves. The win means New Zealand now has 6 points and is yet to concede a goal. The FBC Suva Volleyball Association is hoping to get back on its winning ways after being ousted in the last 2 major tournaments. The association held its pre-Easter tournament today, hoping to get the right mix of players for the championship next weekend.
Today's competition is about correcting mistakes so that Suva can claim the FBC Easter Championship next weekend.
And this time around we have got a mix of good players in all the 4 men's categories and also in the women's categories.
While the Suva men have been on the losing side, the women are proving to be a powerhouse this year.
The players from the last 2 years when they lost out, they were just on the development phase. I understand now that they are matured enough now, and that's why they've come back and winning the two titles.
One thing's for sure, this time around, nothing less than a win will do.
We are pretty confident in this FBC competition, like other teams that they come in to win. Also, FBC Suva is going there to defend the title.
For the first time in the championship's history, FBC TV will replay all semi-finals and finals. Shalvin Chand, FBC Sports.
First timers in touch rugby, the Davui Magic Club hopes to turn heads this year. With some players already selected for the Trans-Tasman Championship national team, the club hopes to become giant killers. Shalvin Chand reports.
Davui Magic is based in Rewanga and most players live along Davui Lane in the Suva suburb.
Because we stay in a small community in Davui Lane, and they decided then they need to play for this under-17 team. So I asked the older boys to bring them together and train these young boys.
With some players already making the national squad, the team hopes to dominate the division in this year's competition.
Few of our boys have been picked for the Fiji team in the under-17 and under-20. But I hope these small boys will make it maybe 3 years' time.
The young team believes in aiming high, and that's why they have set themselves a goal that will surprise even the seasoned teams.
Aim for this year is so they just win their level of grade. Grade as under-17, they can just win their grade competition.
The interest in the weekly competition is growing, fueled by the allure of being part of an international meet later in the year. Shalvin Chand, FBC Sports.
Turning to weather and fine conditions all around except for a bit of cloud cover in Suva and Savu. The Weather Office expects thunderstorms in the west tonight. It was pretty even on the temperature chart, 32 degrees in most centres, only Nandi and Savu were lower. It'll be fine in most places tomorrow morning, giving way to showers and thunderstorms later in the day. For Monday, brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands, afternoon or evening showers and thunderstorms elsewhere. Recapping the headlines, a financial intelligence unit monitoring locals assessing pornographic materials on the internet. Vitilevu inmates offered a chance to serve their sentence in Taviuni Correction Centre, and plans for a national scholarship scheme in years to come. A quick look at our opinion poll question. We ask, should banks provide full services on Saturday? To answer, you can log on to our website www.fbc.com.fj, where you can also watch nightly updates of our news bulletins. That's all for tonight. Before I leave, best of luck to the Fiji Sevens team playing Canada tonight. See you tomorrow.